Dbacks with the improbable walk-off as they take down the San Diego Padres 7-6. And watching that game because I was at Chase Field last night and I've been to 4 D-backs games so far this year, and the D-backs in the games I've been to so far are 0-4. The D-backs have not won a game so far this season, and they've been close many times. There was a game against the Rockies earlier this year that I thought the D-backs were going to win, but if you remember, entering the ninth inning, Mark Melanson had a big blown save, and the D-backs ended up losing that game after I think Zach Davies pitched into like the eighth inning and had a phenomenal start. Just a sad day for me personally as a D-backs fan. But last night, going to the D-backs game, it was a great feeling to walk away after seeing a D-backs comeback, a walk-off win. But watching the game throughout the night, I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought the odds of the D-backs winning that game last night was supremely low. It felt like a super improbable comeback because watching the game from start to finish, the game started off with just no offense, and it was really a pitching duel the first 4 innings of the game because Sean Manaea was absolutely shutting down the D-backs lineup. They probably left Sean Manaea in a little bit too late. He probably should have been done after 6 innings, 100 pitches, but the Padres wanted to throw him back out there for the seventh, and that was probably the downfall of when their almost win started to crumble because they probably should have went to the bullpen right away. But through the first 4 innings, this was definitely a pitching duel. Zach Gallen, I thought, looked pretty damn good through the first 4 innings. Now, I didn't think his stuff was great. Though his stuff was a little bit flat. His fastball velo didn't seem to be as high as it normally is. It felt like he was more in the 93-mile-an-hour range when he typically could sit between 94 and 95. It felt like he really couldn't rear up. I didn't see too many 96s either on the radar gun yesterday, so I felt like the stuff wasn't there for Zach Gallen. He really couldn't get any put away stuff. Like, he only had, how many strikeouts is Zach Gallen? Like, he only had like 1 or 2 strikeouts yesterday. Yeah, only 2 strikeouts. And I feel like he only had 1 strikeout through the first 4 innings of yesterday's ball game. Zach Gallen really struggled to put away San Diego Padres batters with 2 strikes, but it wasn't allowing any damage, at least through the first 4 innings of the ball game, because once that fifth inning rolled around, the game just seemed to flip. Not seemed to flip, the game did flip because Zach Allen gave up 6 earned runs in that fifth inning, and it started off when he gave up a 2-run bomb to Nomar Mazara. But after that, I was like, all right, a 2-run bomb, you don't want to see that if you're Zach Allen, but his ERA is still going to be good, and he's still having a pretty good start. Let's just move past that home run, and let's get Zach Allen back on track, because after he gave up that home run, I didn't think much of it. I'm like, yeah, that hurts if you're Zach Allen, but I still felt confident that he was going to give us 6 strong innings of 2 earned run ball. I was going to blame the offense for the lack of run support, but little did I know, Zach Gallen was not done there, because he gave up 4 more runs in that inning. At one point, he got the bases loaded, and the Padres catcher, Jorge Alfaro, just cleared them with a double. That boy is thick, and he put a charge into that one down the line, and Zach Allen was pretty much done after 5. And I was really shocked to see the turnaround for Zach Allen, because even though he didn't have the put away stuff, like I said, he did seem like he was cruising. He only allowed 2 singles through those first 4 innings. He wasn't really putting base runners on. It wasn't sloppy with the ball. He didn't really have command issues. I just thought he didn't have his strikeout stuff yesterday. And little did I know, not having your strikeout stuff also means you're going to give up a lot more hard contact as the game moves on. So those Padres hitters really locked in on Zach Gallen that third time through the lineup, and Gallen just couldn't do anything in that fifth inning. And his day was done after 5. And it felt like the D-backs were going to lose that game, because the D-backs offense had not done anything that day. And just, you look at the whole month of June, the D-backs offense has been terrible. So to be down 6 runs after 5 innings, I was like, there's no way the D-backs come back in this game. And really, their offense wasn't the one that came back. Like, I've been saying this a lot. The Padres lost this game more than the D-backs won it, because the D-backs was able to put a little rally together in the 7th inning. I'll give them credit for that, because the 4 runs that the D-backs put up in the 7th was legitimate. They got 2 guys on the bases. Buddy Kennedy came up. He had a monster double. Buddy Kennedy was very good yesterday. Carson Kelly had a huge double in that 7th inning to score Buddy Kennedy, and the D-backs end up scoring 4 runs in that 7th. So the offense that they put up in the 7th inning was legitimate. But after that, the 8th inning offense is really, if you're a Padres fan, you just have to be hurling at your TV. You have to be throwing up in your mouth. Like, look at this little sequence for the Padres. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up real quick, because this is what happened The Padres pitching would it just imploded in that eighth inning because you had a Josh Rojas single, and then after that, you had Josh Rojas move to second on a wild pitch by Garcia. Then Ketel Marte walked. Then you had, excuse me, after that Ketel Marte walk, Buddy Kennedy was hit by a pitch. Then Carson Kelly was hit by a pitch. So you had single, wild pitch, walk, hit by pitch, hit by pitch. Those two hit by pitches ended up scoring 2 runs for the D-backs, and it ended up tying the game. The D-backs didn't have to do anything but take walks and take hit by pitches. Like the D-backs in that eighth inning literally wasn't moving the bat off their shoulder. They just stood there in the batter's box and they let every pitch either go by or they let every pitch hit them, and it was very effective. And at one point after those two hit by pitches, they had bases loaded. They had no outs. You're like, the D-backs are going to break this game open, but in normal D-backs fashion. This is why I say the Padres lost this game more than the D-backs won it, because bases loaded, no outs. Dalton Varsho at the plate, double play. And it wasn't entirely Dalton Varshaw's fault, because he hits it to the second base. Second base goes right home, or I think he hits it to shortstop. He hits it somewhere in the infield. They go right home, force out at home. But the guy who was at first, the runner at first, never ran to second. He just stops. And so the catcher, after stepping at home, just throws it to second base. And that's 2 outs right there. I don't know what the runner on first is doing. I'm not even sure who the runner at first was, but whatever he was doing just costed the D-backs a run right there. Oh, it's Carson Kelly. I don't know what he was doing, why he got held up at first base, but he should have kept running once he saw the ball was on the ground, because it was bases loaded. It was a force out at every base, and it was a ground ball. It wasn't like it was a pop-up we had to, stand and wait. No, it was a ground ball, so you had to go in contact. Carson Kelly, and then Alec Thomas strikes out after that. So it's like the D-backs tied up, but it's all because of the Padres' lack of effective pitching. It wasn't anything the D-backs did, because when they had bases loaded and no outs, they literally couldn't put a run on the board. So the Padres come through in the eighth inning, and then you fast forward to the ninth inning, because Mark Melancon, as always, Mark Melancon, a couple wild pitches, a walk as well in the ninth inning. He had to make it a little dicey, but he gets 2 strikeouts to end the ninth inning. And the D-backs move on to the bottom of the ninth, where the magic really happens, because it started off with back-to-back Ks from Hager and Peralta, and you're just like, this game is going to extra innings, and the D-backs might have squandered their chance to win in the eighth inning, but Rojas gets on base, Ketel Marte gets on base, back-to-back singles, and then one of the craziest plays I've seen, Christian Walker, just a little dribbler to Eric Hosmer. And I don't know what Eric Hosmer is thinking. I'm like, I thought it was going to be an out, because I saw first base from my seats wide open, easy put out. But instead he goes to second. Instead, he goes to second base, the tougher of the two bases, the tougher play of the two choices. And the second baseman, he couldn't squeeze the ball. It pops out. Ketel Marte is safe, and you just see Rojas running around home, and you're like, is that it? Is the game over? And the D-backs end up walking it off, and it just ends up being a pretty improbable win. But it's a great win for the D-backs, who have been excuse me, my mouth is getting a little dry, who have been struggling. I'm doing this as soon as I wake up, so I probably should have drank more water before doing this. But the D-backs have been struggling the whole month of June. The Padres are one of the teams that seem to always have the D-backs number, but the D-backs, first game of the season, walk off against the Padres. First game of this series, walk off against the Padres. Now we got Madison Bumgarner on the mound today. I might have to make another bet with Javier Reyes of Locked On Padres, so be on the lookout for that. But great D-backs win, improbable D-backs win, but a super fun game. And I was glad to be in the stands for the first game that the D-backs have won that I've been there all season. That was probably a really weird way to say it. I'm glad that the D-backs won, because the first game that they won that I've seen in person all year, and it was a comeback against the San Diego Padres, the NL West opponent. Great time. Great time.